Alright guys, here's a part two for you. This is a little bit longer winded and what I'm just going to do here is I've already done the tutorial and I'm going to do an exposition on how this can be done. So this is the chest piece and I figured since I'm working on it already, why not record this, and that way anybody who maybe had some issues with clarification on the other stuff can kind of figure out what it is that we got to do. So um, one thing I'm going to do really quickly is get this thing through Blipster. And I won't be talking as much and pointing things out, but you guys are going to kind of see how I do this. And hopefully that way if there's any other additional questions, it can kind of you can kind of see what I'm doing here. So for the chests, you got a human female and a human male, or you have a female and male basically, right? So I'm going to edit the male because that's what I play, but you would have to go back and do this for both female and male sets if you wanted this to look uniform between genders. Okay, just so you know. I'm not going to do that for myself because this is my own private server. I don't play as women, so not a thing for me, but it can be done. So it's there if you want it. All right, so that's already an RGBA, which is good. So we don't really have to do much there. I'll open this bad boy in GIMP. Okay. And you may hear errant cursing. That's just me when I work. I apologize in advance. And what you may be asking is why you wouldn't want to go in and just and change the color of these pixels. The reason is because this hue change does a pretty cool thing, and it changes all of the pixels in the selected area with basically a theme of a color, not the color itself, not the base color. And so rather than changing all of the pixels by hand or by trying to go over here and, use a paint tool or something along those lines, this just sets you up so that you don't have to do that. And it looks like the image is cut in half between two kinds of texture shadings or something. I'm not sure what the appropriate term is for that, but we're going to respect that and not try to do both sides of the picture at the same time. I've found when working with previously worked on art, unless you're going to go create your own texture that works with an item or a geoset like we've seen, it's best to just use what's there as much as possible and try not to change things drastically, because they are that way for a reason most of the time. Okay, so we've got our trim and our shaded areas here. Let's say colors, go to hue saturation, and let's see what we get. Okay, yeah, this is a little bit more greenish, right? We want that to be a little darker green. Saturation looks pretty good. So I'm going to screenshot this real fast for my own use. I'm going to pop that over in Paint real fast for quick reference. And that's just so I've got the numeric value of the color change that I just posted. There we go. Alright, and it's there. So now I can, when I go do the other side, I know what colors and hues and all that stuff to use. And we're going to just say, if you're happy with it, of course I just changed it, so let me print that again. There. And that looks accurate. Okay. We're just going to say okay. And now it's changed. And we're going to do the same thing over here. Right here where I didn't get this side of it, you see. So we'll go. Now you could keep this blue if you wanted to have a two-tone. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Okay, same thing we just did. And thankfully I've got my numeric value saved already, so I know what this needs to look like. It's 112, negative 112. Lightness needs to be negative 40.9. And this needs to be 20.1. And now we get a uniform change, right? All right, that looks good. And again, just to fully explain what was done here, because of those numeric values, you may think that what I was doing was making both of these colors the same on either side of the page. That's not what was going on here. What it was doing was changing the hue by the values across the board. So this side on the left was obviously a lighter blue than the side on the right. You don't want to change that side and then have the right side match perfectly the new color. You want to change it by the amount that to scale, right? So you don't want these two RGB values to be the exact same. You just want to change them by the exact same amount if you want the item to continue to look as it did in its original state. That's what we did here. Export as, that's fine. And then we just are gonna rename this G for the male portion. And we're gonna say export. Cool. Now we've got the green version, and that's what it looks like compared to the others. It just looks like it's got green trim. And we're gonna go back and do this again for some of the other stuff. So torso lower also had one, and this was for male. So all right, we'll close GIMP. Gonna discard the changes because it's already been exported, and we're gonna open with GIMP again for the male portion of this. I find this a little bit cathartic. I I really enjoy doing this when I want to do it, but it is a lot of work. And yeah, let's just also get it clear, make no mistake, I am not talented enough to go and try to even attempt to do this myself, but I do just think it's so cool. That one was actually pretty quick and painless, honestly. Just gonna close the server while I'm doing this. Export as. This is the upper arm texture. Fortunately, this one in particular is unisex, so for the male and female, it's going to be the same. You can tell that because it's got the U designation at the end of it instead of M or F. What's the best way to go about this? It's going to be a little bit more intricate because it's got its own stuff here, but not a huge deal. And GIMP does a pretty good job of not spilling over. You know, it's basically select it. I think it's able to tell kind of what it is you're trying to accomplish, and it'll go back and select what actually needs to be changed when you change the hue on these, rather than what you've maybe selected, which is useful. Now keep in mind, if you do run into an issue with one of these where the hue change doesn't do what you're wanting it to, very good possibility that you need to go and convert your PNG file in BLPster to something with RGB. Where'd you go? Yeah, see right here, it didn't. We're gonna not do that. I want to just make sure real quick. Colors. I don't know what I did, but I definitely clicked something I was not supposed to click. Wonder why it's doing that. Given that it's a free program, I'm not going to bash it. I think honestly it's more intuitive than fucking Adobe anyway. I remember when I was growing up and people used to talk about using Adobe Photoshop, and now you look at the price of a fucking subscription to that, because they don't even sell you the base product anymore. And it's just outrageous. So there's gonna be, honestly, other than I guess for strictly for professional use, I can't figure out why the hell anyone is paying those fuckheads money. It's a kind of another fun fact. I've never really messed with textures before. Done a little bit of modeling, I guess, but that was more along. But most of my graphical design has been figured out in the past couple of weeks making these videos. I guess if you can even call it that. I'm sure it's probably an offense to graphic designers everywhere that I'm using that particular term. Alright, that looks pretty good. Go ahead and export that. Yeah, turned out okay, I think. Alright. I actually recognize this. This is the elbow. Oh, you know what I missed right here? I probably should have just selected that whole damn corner, to be honest. There. Okay. I'm looking through to see if there's any I missed that didn't get turned. Oh, yeah, sure enough. I'll pause this for just a minute, guys. You won't be able to tell. Alright, start it back up. Alright, that's all of them. They were all RGBA, so that worked out well for me. You can see I screwed up there. That was supposed to be the lower texture. Having it in there won't be the end of the world. It's just a little weird that this is like this though. And okay. Looks great. I think I messed that up. there you have it, guys. That's all there is to it. Um, it's not a fast process, but now let's see how this looks on an elf. Yeah, not too shabby. All right, guys. I hope that helped, and we will catch you next time.